It's really warm in this car, so I'm going to keep this brief. I've just been to see the Bikeriders. I say I've just been to see it. I came out like 20 minutes ago, but then I ran into two people I know who were also in there. Big up Eden and Reese. And then we had a big nerdy cinema fan chat on the steps of the cinema. So I'm only just getting around to my review now. The Bikeriders is a film by, I've literally just looked at the writer-director's name. I'm going to say Jeff Nichols and hope that I'm right. Looked it up about 4 seconds ago, but that's ADHD for you. It's just popped straight back out of my brain. I looked up his other work. He hasn't done anything else I know, so I don't know if he's reasonably new. This is an interesting film, kind of based on a true story, about a Midwestern motorcycle gang, and it focuses on sort of the late 50s to the early 70s. They were called the Vandals, and their leader is a chap called Johnny, played by Tom Hardy. His not second in command, actually. He's got a different guy who's like he's second, but he's sort of, his favourite of the gang is Benny, who's played by Austin Butler, and Austin Butler is in a relationship with, or married to, Jodie Comer's Kati. Now, the framework of the film is that a photojournalist is spending some time with the gang, interviewing the main players and taking photographs, and his research, his photos and his words were published in a book called The Bikeriders, and that's what the film is based on. Danny is played by Mike Feist, who I'm increasingly fascinated by. He was in Challengers earlier this year with Zendaya and Josh O'Connor, and I know him as Riff from Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. There's something really magnetic about him, and he's not in it very much, and I think his character's quite discreet and subtle because he's not meant to be noticed. He's just hanging out with the gang and sort of finding out about them, but we see him interviewing Kati, Jodie Comer's Kati, quite a lot, and occasionally just hanging out with the gang and taking pictures. There's kind of not much more to it than that. It's 2 hours long. It's quite sprawling. There's no big action sequences. There's no big, like, it's, I guess, I've never seen Easy Rider, but it's tapping into that old sort of storytelling of just following these interesting characters. It looks beautiful. Like, it's really evocative. It's small town Midwestern America, which it doesn't make look beautiful because I don't imagine that it was back then. But some of the shots when they're all on the bikes are just breathtaking. And the cinematography, like I say, really impressive. There's lots of close-ups of Jodie Comer's face, which I'm always down with because she is stunning. There's something so absolutely fascinating about that woman, and she's so stupidly talented. It's insane. Like, she's so good. From Killing Eve and playing Villanelle to being in mad silly stuff like Free Guy, to her theatre run in Prima Facie, which I actually came to see in the cinema because I knew I wasn't going to get to the West End to see it, and that's a performance the like of which I've never seen before. And I get that it's an actor's job to learn an accent and stuff like that and to play a character, but it will never not tickle me to death that when she's not in character, she has the broadest Scouse accent you've ever heard in your life, like to the point of it being unintelligible at times. It's just ridiculous. And here she's playing a beautiful, wide-eyed, quite innocent Midwestern girl. I think she's already married when she meets Benny, and then she meets him, and there's just something about him. Of course there's something about him. He's Austin Butler. Like, there's a good-looking fella. Good God. Not my cup of tea, particularly, but my goodness, what a face. And he's tall. And I think the fact that the first time I ever saw him he was playing Elvis is going to stick with me forever, because, again, not a huge Elvis fan, but Austin Butler playing Elvis and all that kind of magnetism he's carried forward. You just can't take your eyes off him. And he doesn't really say a lot as Benny. He just loves his bike and he loves his woman and he loves Johnny, not in a, you know, sexy way, just in a, I couldn't get my words out properly. I mentioned it's hot in this car. He just loves him. There's this real bond between the two of them and he just wants to ride his bike and that's what he loves. And it gets him into trouble sometimes. And it's just about how the biker gang evolves, how it starts out with just men wanting to ride together, and yes, they're hard drinking and they smoke a lot. Jesus, I'd love to know how many cigarettes are smoked on screen in this film. Good, like literally everybody is smoking all the time. Benny's always smoking, Kathy's always smoking. I'm pretty sure Danny the journalist smokes a lot, just everybody. There's always cigarettes on the go at all times. Again, authentic of the period. So yeah, it's just, and there's some real interesting characters in it, aside from Benny and Johnny and Kathy and Danny and other people whose names don't end in E. Michael Shannon is in it as Zipco. Who else pops up? Norman Reedus of Walking Dead fame, who plays Daryl, pops up as somebody whose nickname is Funny Sonny because he comes down from California, so he looks, as bikers, he looks kind of different because he's got a kind of 70s Californian. He's got much longer hair and a longer beard, but just looks like Daryl. It was really, and it was just really, really off-putting because the pan round this campfire scene, and I was like, why is Daryl from The Walking Dead there? Because it just looks like the same guy. He's in like biker leathers and denim, and I'm like, that's Daryl. But yeah, he's in it. Everybody's good. It's all great performances all round. And there's not really much else to say about it. It's just interesting, great performances, nice to look at, intriguing, sprawling character piece where not a huge amount happens, but it's kind of fascinating and you can't look away. I think that'll do. It's very good. I enjoyed it. I'm not enjoying the temperature in this car, so I'm going to go. Thanks for listening. Katie out.